is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, April 10th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast all about home automation, home technology, and no news this week.
Slow week?
Yeah, and slow week. You know, there's still astronauts in space. They're doing something up there.
Yeah, they'll be probably already on Earth by the time you publish this. So.
No, that's not true. Maybe.
No, they will be.
You know what the bad part is that I had last week's show all edited by like Saturday. I just kept forgetting to post it. It was a busy weekend, so and then a busy week too. Like today was a horrible day. Like just everything that would go wrong did go wrong, and it was just one of those days. So
Do you love those days?
They're the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be sitting down and chatting about things that are happening. Oh, wait, nothing's happening in the home technology era either. So what are we doing? It's some TVs that came out this week. That's about it.
Yeah, some Aqara stuff, some TVs. There's always something to talk about. You know, I'm sad because the State of the Open Home happened, but I can't really speak about it yet in terms of like, you know, what did they really talk about? So that doesn't give us time to do this stuff.
I thought it was public information. Is it not public information? This is all secret?
It's secret, probably.
No, it's not that I can't talk about it because it's public or private. It's just I haven't made my notes yet. We haven't had time to do that stuff.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be old news next week, though.
I know, but it was a 2.5 hour event, and I had work meetings at the same time. So
what do they think? Just know it. People, these open source guys are just sitting around doing nothing all day, except for Gavin. Gavin's like, I got a job to do. Come on, guys.
I was messaging one of my buddies. I was like, the State of Open Home's going on right now at work. He's like, yeah, this sucks. Why did they schedule a meeting at that time? Because he wanted to watch it too, right? So at least two of us were upset.
Yeah. All right. Well, not much in the way of news this week, but we do have a couple of HomeTech headlines. So what do you say we jump in?
Let's do it.
All right. I know at least two people are excited about this. Well, one person's probably excited about this, and the other person doesn't use Google Home or has no intention to use Google Home. But Google has finally updated Google Home app to support Google Workspace accounts, addressing a long-standing request from users who rely on paid Workspace instead of personal Gmail. So yeah, now you can use your Workspace account with your custom domain and your work domain and all the stuff. Like, I have a Gmail account, but it's basically garbage. Like, I never check it, and there's no way I use the calendar on it in any way, shape, or form. But I have my own domain for my work, you know, for a little weird company I have set up. I also have it for various other things. And it would have been great if this feature had come out, I don't know, 10 years ago when Google Home was like getting started. But now I have no desire to use Google Home. And when I did, though, this would have been a key selling point for them to actually use the calendar that I actually used on a day-to-day basis and all the fancy stuff that could go along with it. So anyway, I guess there's still some limitations. Can't enroll early access for the Gemini Home voice assistant things, and personal results plus other Google Assistant features are still unavailable. So not completely in there, but it's nice that they finally added this in. And you guys aren't excited about this, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I saw one person excited about it. It was Richard. Richard was excited. He's the one that actually posted the story. And I was like, do people want to do this? But I guess they do, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think I don't have one of my businesses has Google for all their stuff. And I guess I wouldn't be able to do a lot of this stuff until now. But
yep.
I don't have that use case for myself. So not a big issue for me, I guess. I can see how it is, though, for a lot of people, because Google, this is a very common thing. A lot of people use Google services for their business. So
yeah, or even for your personal accounts, like you have a vanity domain and you have Google Workspace hooks up to it because you pay for it. You could never have used this, and that was the problem that I had. It's like, well, I would like to use this Google stuff when it was first coming out and looking really cool, and they were showing all these cool videos, and I was like, but I got to hook it up to my Gmail account. I don't use my Gmail account for anything other than spam collection. So yeah, Gavin's like, yeah, Home Assistant, let you use whatever email you want.
Nah, I'm all for, you know, I'm not excited for it, but I'm all for new features. So yay.
Yay for Google.
Yay for Google.
Well, welcome to something you should have done 10 years ago. So, all right. Aqara's got some new products out. First up is the Aqara Hub W200. This is a new thermostat hub that, does all sorts of fun stuff. It's got a presence sensor thermostat, Aqara Zigbee hub and matter controller built into it, as well as voice and app control. It's got a 4-inch touchscreen. It even has a video screen on it. So if there's someone at your door and you have the Aqara doorbell, and you can see a picture of who's at the door. So I guess that's a thing for thermostats these days. You have to have a screen on them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They already have a screen, so I might as well use it for something good. Yeah. And this is a great thermostat. The only thing I don't like is it's tied into their own devices. So, you can't use it if you have like another doorbell. You have to have the Aqara doorbell as well, and the Aqara lock to be able to auto lock it. It's not a feature I'll use because my thermostat is pretty much like right by the door. So if I'm already there, they've seen me inside walk by the
creeping
door
around,
through the glass,
Let me look at my thermostat and see who this is real quick,
Yeah, I'm just going to open the door and say, what?
Not home.
Yeah. Might as well just tell them that through the door. But some people will find this valuable because maybe the thermostat's in their family room and, they could just look up and see who's at the door. It's cool features. The one thing I'm most excited about with the thermostat, and I'm still getting it set up, I had to order the what do you call that piece, TJ? The
C-wire adapter.
Yeah, I had to order one of those. But once I get hooked up, I'm excited because when you add it to like the Apple Home, you can use all your temperature sensors to do the adaptive temperature and stuff like that. You don't need to have at Ecobee, you had to buy their sensors. It was a little annoying because you had their sensors
they're
all
expensive
over the
and
place.
they're ugly too.
They're ugly, they're expensive, they don't work as well. I just never liked them. But now you can use any sensor, which I'm really looking forward to doing.
That does sound nice, yeah.
This thermostat actually looks really nice. I was interested in getting one. They were supposed to send me one. I never actually received it, so I don't know what it's like. But we saw this at CES, and it looks really nice in person. It's matter over Wi-Fi though, which I'm not a fan of. I wish it was over Thread. But it looks like a nice device. So I think this is going to be like a good alternative to like Ecobee.
Yeah.
I would say Nest, but I really don't count Nest as a product anymore. So
yeah.
Ecobee is what people mostly recommend though, whenever they see a smart thermostat at this point, if it's not a Nest device. So I think it's a good alternative.
I don't mind the Wi-Fi part of it. Like I do generally hate like matter over Wi-Fi devices, but those are more for the, when you're going to get if they were sensors and you're going to have a bunch of them. I don't want to overload my Wi-Fi with that.
Sure.
My Ecobee is already on Wi-Fi anyway, so I'll be taking off that to put this one on. So I'm just replacing that device anyway. But I can't remember if it does Zigbee too.
As far as I know, it's just so it has Zigbee built into it, as far as I can tell, but you cannot use it with Zigbee.
Oh, okay.
So as from what I can tell of it,
yeah, but it looks great when it's on the wall. It reminds me of the Ecobee. They look very similar. I mean, the only differences are the screens, probably.
We need to get you a common wire whenever I'm there next month too.
Yeah, that house wired up.
Yeah, come on.
You know what? I have another wire in the wall run, and I could probably just patch into it and do the common wire. So
yeah, come on.
That might just be an easy project that, I have a list for you. I'll add it to the list.
All right, good.
Let's get on that. Yeah. It is a nice looking piece. I'm like, could I put this in? I think I could put this in. Only thing I would have is I'd lose integration from the Ecobee to the flare vents I have.
Mm-hmm.
But I have integration with those through Home Assistant now, so not the end of the world. I'd just have to go and manually program them to do whatever they're doing in conjunction with the Ecobee. But at the end of the day, that's not the worst thing in the world. I'm having sensors and stuff that aren't ugly like Ecobee, which I was gonna buy another pack of those or whatever because the one we had died and was messing up the temperature in the house. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm like, these are really ugly. I don't want it in my house. So I just never did. Now I've just got the Ecobee on the wall. So
yeah, they're very ugly. I like the Zeus temperature sensors because they kind of just blend in. They're like little white, not so deep squares or rectangles. So they kind of blend in. You can paint them a little bit if you want to, but they're not as obvious. The Ecobee temp sensors I never understood because it's like a weird like pointy mount thing. And then you attach this very thick sensor to it. And it's just like it sticks so far out the wall for a temperature sensor.
It is obvious that this weird little white thing is in the room. And you can never like you need to have it somewhere that is in the room, like where people are, and it's not like on top of a lamp, or like somewhere that's getting hot or cold from a window or something like that. Like you need to have it somewhere in a general space, and it's just such an awkward looking little device. Like I don't know, they made it. It was bad before. It was a little square puck that had lived on this little stand, and you kind of had to hide that away somewhere. And then they made it even worse with the little triangular things. It's like I can't hide these away anywhere. I need to hide something. So I might look into this one. It's interesting. That's the W200. Well, now they also have the Aqara multi-state sensor P100, and that is it's just like what they say it is. It is a sensor that does multiple things and does just about everything. It does orientation, movement, like a fall sensor. It's got vibration, tilt. If you tap on it, you do triple taps on it, it'll pick that up. And it actually looks pretty good. It's a little tiny like box, I guess. I don't know. What about you never can tell from these like photoshops they do, but like I know, it looks about like maybe 1.5 inches by 1 inch wide, and maybe a 1/2 inch tall. But it would definitely blend in with just about everything. So, and
like you said, it's a multi-sensor. It can do like everything, and they had some good ideas on there. Like you can use it for glass breaking. You mount it on your window if someone breaks the glass. I mean, something you can't test, but it's nice.
You can. I mean, there's one way to test it.
You can test at least once.
Yeah. Another example is attaching one to grandma. If you look at their list of things, they attach one to grandma's wheelchair to see when she's moving.
My favorite one is the pet feeding monitoring, and I'm like, what do they mean by that? No, they attached one to the jar of fish food. So I guess if you pick it up and turn it upside down, it logs that you've fed the fish.
You fed the fish. There you go.
All right, that's a good idea.
There you go. So there's a lot of practical uses for this thing. It's pretty good. I saw one where they put it on their turntable cover. So when they close the cover, it would start up the turntable and stuff. And that had something to do with their cats loving to sit on the turntable. So, they solve a lot of problems with it. It's a very powerful sensor. I hope to grab one when it's available on Amazon. And I have some uses for it.
Looks like it comes in two colors too. It comes in a black and a white color.
Oh,
no, I got to order two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's one. It says protective cover, so maybe there's interesting. I don't know. Maybe the cover you can swap out on it. I think you get a sensor and then you get one color, like two covers with it. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but they have different photos of them being in different pictures. And the box has like two colors on it, like per box. So maybe you get just the cover and you can swap that out. Oh, that's kind of nice. Interesting. Also seems to be a protective cover as part of a kit. Do you have any idea how much these are going to run?
It looks like $29.99.
Oh, nice.
That's not bad.
No.
Aqara does these kind of I would say odd devices once in a while. They I think like the original one was like the Aqara Magic Cube, where you like flip it over or tap it and it would do different tasks. So they always experiment with these little more unique sensors.
Why don't they do a soil moisture sensor that's lawnmower friendly? Like, come on. Like, why is nobody doing this?
I don't know, Gavin.
Everybody's doing them now. They just don't make a good one for you.
Exactly.
I think there's more soil moisture sensors now than there's ever been. So
yeah,
but they're all sticking up out of the ground and getting run over by the lawnmower.
That's right.
Put little blinking lights on them. No, I don't like that either. I guess it comes in gray and white, so I don't know. Looks like a black color to me. I don't see the protective case thing. Yeah. Let's see. So that wraps up sensor news. We have TV news, and there's a couple of these things here. So the Samsung has a 2026 Frame TVs and a Pro TV that costs less than last year. So that's something. It's news from over The Verge. TJ, did you see these at I saw these I think at CES, the Frame TVs. They look like every other Frame TV. But I guess last year's Frame Pro TV was released at $2,200 for the 65-inch and $3,200 for the 75-inch. This year it's going to be $2,000 and for the Frame Pro 65-inch and $2,800 for the 75-inch. So yeah. And the 85-inch drops as well, about $300 from $4,300 to $4,000. So I don't know. Seems like the normal thing where TVs get cheaper every year, I guess. You do more of these than Gavin and I have seen, I guess. I don't have one of these TVs. I don't really really want one in particular, but like, do you think your customers will be asking for more Frame TVs at lower prices?
God, I hope not. This is the worst TV that I've ever had to deal with. It's such a. I understand why it exists, and to answer your original question, no, I did not see this at CES because I wanted to enjoy my vacation. It's just like it's always the dumbest things with these TVs, right? So, for example, they changed the Samsung frame lineup to where if it's above a 65-inch TV, you have to get the Pro, and the Pro only works wirelessly with the little HDMI connection box.
Oh yeah.
Every time I've installed a Pro TV, we've installed the One Connect box behind the TV still, just like a regular Frame TV. So it's just like they keep making these like silly decisions, and it is literally the worst TV. Like, if you're listening to this, don't buy the Frame TV. It is an awful TV. If your spouse wants the TV, tell her that you're not getting the TV because it's an awful TV.
What if I get a Hisense? A Hisense has a 50-inch Canvas TV now. It's not a frame, it's a canvas. But they've got a 50, they've got a 55, 65, 75, and 85. But I don't know if they have little boxes that you have to...
They don't.
Okay.
And you probably won't hate yourself when you use the software because the Samsung software is always the worst. I set one up for a client recently, one of the Frame Pros, like a 75-inch. And I had to sit there forever while he used the software on this. And he was like, man, this is terrible. And I was like, I know. I tried to tell you before you bought this TV, but you didn't listen. And it was just like it was a struggle. We had to like get like the free trial for the Frame artwork store, and like it wouldn't redeem, and we had to reset the TV. It's just a nightmare. Don't buy this TV.
The Hisense 50-inch was $1,200, I believe. So
and that one runs Android too. So
$1,300. Yeah, it's a Google TV.
Android,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Google TV is so much better than whatever Samsung puts on their stuff now. Have you used the Samsung TV in the past like year or two?
No, can't say I have. No,
I didn't know it was possible, but the software has gotten worse in the past couple of years.
I've been places where they had them like they had them like as their main TV. So like there's like a little like when you fire it up now, like it gives you those free TV, Samsung TV or something channels in there. And I think this particular client of mine was like, he loved that idea. Like, hey, there's free TV on these TVs. There you go.
Yeah.
I pretty much just turned it off, because it wasn't anything I wanted to watch on that. But yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to interact with the software.
Yeah, you're lucky. It's painful every time I set one up. So they've just progressively gotten worse.
I just find TV software in general is just rough, except like the Roku TVs. Actually, they weren't too bad, but they still have their annoyances, when you're trying to use external devices with them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You buy an Apple TV no matter what you're going to buy. The problem with the Frame TV recently is that they broke the I guess compatibility with Apple TV. And so it used to be where you'd power off the Apple TV with the Apple TV remote. It would put the Frame TV into art mode, which is what you want with the Frame TV. Whenever you turn it off, you want it to turn it into art. They broke the compatibility with it so that when you use the Apple TV remote, it just turned the TV off completely. And they still have not fixed that. So even with the Frame TV, you still can't really use an external device if you want to use it as the frame.
So it just stays on all the time?
No, it turns off fully.
Oh.
Which is like a normal TV,
Oh, okay.
You bought it so it would go to art mode, but it just like bypasses that and just turns the whole thing off. So you still have to use the Samsung remote in order to go into art mode.
That's lovely.
Yeah. It's a terrible design.
Oh, thanks a lot. I was trying to look up the prices here for the Hisense one. The other Canvas TVs. Oh, I guess here they are. 65. Wow. At Best Buy, you can get the 65-inch or 55-inch for $699. So they're significantly less than 65-inch is $899. So those are going to be less than the old Samsung over there anyway. I don't know how good the Google TV is these days, but like you're saying, it's probably better than the Samsung thing, it sounds like.
Yeah. It's definitely a better option in my opinion.
All right. Well, LG has introduced this new MAGNIT Micro LED TV. Just a little bit more TV news today. This is a customizable, scalable micro LED system, pretty much aimed at premium installs. So this is something you use in a fancy, I don't know, like this is a wall TV. It's a one where you put the little panels together. So I guess they have a line to dot technology. It's intended to reduce visible pixel inconsistencies and make the small pixel issues less noticeable. Installation system design updates, including front axis alignment for what they call Z-axis depth and uniformity. And that's kind of one thing you notice on those panel TVs. Like when they insert the panels, they have to be like exactly flush. Like, or you'll notice that there's different like squares because the LED panels come in the square. So when they put them together, you may see them like out of alignment. There's all sorts of like optical things that you can, you have to like line up exactly and then adjust like the pixels to make sure they're all calibrated together. So it sounds like they're making the install a little bit easier. They also have an optical fiber connectivity, which I thought it was funny here. It runs like 6 miles. If you wanted to run a TV 6 miles away from the head end, you could do it here. There you go. No price on this one though. Oddly enough, couldn't find any pricing on it.
I wonder why. Yeah, when you can definitely mess up the video walls to where you can tell where all the individual panels are and everything like that. It's very easy to do. So it's always good to see improvements like this because I think video walls, once they reach a certain point, you'll see them in home theaters more often because then you could build like a truly like whole wall of video. But you're not going to be able to do that until they get a higher resolution and so they don't look like crap.
And they're modular, right? Video walls, so it's easier to get into your basement too.
Right.
Yeah, you can drag them down in like little panel-sized things, and I mean they're probably a good. Some of the bigger ones are like the size of a 20-inch TV, right? 22-inch TV. But they all kind of like pop in place. Yeah, TJ, people are using them for that, and the resolution is there. And I think what is more exciting is like the nits, the brightness is like way brighter than their projector. So they are actively hoping that they can utilize that technology more one day in the right rooms. But I think the biggest problem is the audio. You can't put speakers behind these TVs like you can with a screen. They're not going to, you're going to have to like have audio down
speakers.
Below. Yeah. Right.
If you're getting something like that, you're getting external speakers and sound bars. And
our friend Owen just had an aneurysm right there. He's tripped over. Yeah, no, I mean, like, you're going to pay all this money for a screen. You want it to sound good, too, and not just be pretty on the wall. So
I don't even like the speakers in any of the TVs I have anyways.
Well, these aren't going to come with speakers, I can tell you that.
If TVs didn't come with speakers, I'd be okay with that because the speakers they do come with are so awful anyways, right? So that's fine. I'd be happy with that. What I'd like, too, is if your TV broke, you don't have to replace the whole TV. You can just replace the panel.
The little panel, yeah.
Assuming the company still makes that one panel. Maybe you have to buy a backup panel just in case.
Well, I think that's the trick. When you buy these on the commercial side, you do end up doing that. You buy a couple of like extras that, you can call, you still have to call the factory and have them do like firmware updates on it to get it to be in the right location. But I do remember when I was looking at buying one of these, like you basically would buy a couple extra just in case. Something happens. You could replace it easily. So,
and I'd assume they're not universal. So I don't have a lot of experience in this round, but they're not universal. So like the company could technically like go out of business or like stop making them, and then you'd be out of luck, right?
Yeah, definitely. That could definitely happen if you needed a part or a piece. I mean, they may still have some somewhere, built up somewhere in stock that you could order, but that would be if you paid $150,000 for a video wall, like, and you needed a couple panels, a few years later because they were damaged or, a pixel went out on one of them or something like that and it's out of warranty. Man, that would be rough if you couldn't get that panel picked up from somewhere. So, yeah, they're still expensive and still, a premium item. But I think there is hope that they could be used in theater rooms one day, provided that there's a way that the audio situation could be worked around. So, and then last bit of TV news here: Sony's got an RGB technology for its TVs. A true RGB technology for its TVs. It uses independently controlled red, green, and blue light sources. I don't know. That's something, I guess. It almost looks like kind of describe the way it is. It's almost like how the micro LED stuff works, but it's not. It uses some kind of little mini LED. But it looks like the picture they have here is kind of like a mini LED next to it that has it's broken up into more little sub-pixels within there so they can blend the light together even better. It says it's a proprietary optical structure, which is saying something because I think Sony, didn't they get out of the TV business at some point? I don't know.
They just sold theirs to TCL.
Yeah, so maybe this is a TCL true RGB. I don't know. Yeah. So this will be, I don't know. These TV companies always like try and one up each other every year on like what weird technology they're using here and there. And Sony, you got to admit, Sony usually looks pretty good. So I'm sure whatever this is, it looks pretty good. Well, that's all the TV news we have tonight. If you want to learn more, all the links and show notes we have discussed tonight be over on HomeTech.fm/570. Sorry, no pick of the week this week, no mailbag this week. We're just going to go straight to project updates because it's getting late and we got to go sleep. First up, there is an update from what Gavin was talking about earlier. The Home Assistant guys put out this roadmap. So if you're interested in getting like into the nitty gritty and wondering when exactly they're going to start working on that special feature where they have Z-Wave lock management, TJ, that's actually in here. You can go check that out.
Yeah, that's always been a pain. I mean, that's kind of why I went to Aqara locks, is because it was hard to manage my locks through Home Assistant. So
yeah, I saw it on the little dashboard there. It was one of the things, Z-Wave lock management, like for the PIN code and that kind of thing. So
I don't think they have any dates or anything, but it kind of tells you the what they're thinking about and, you know, what they're working on and stuff like that, right? And the progress they've made. And, you know, if you're very interested, you know, dig through. And even if you're somebody that can contribute, they have a bunch of projects on there and you can actually pick one up and contribute. Like, even if you're not a developer, but you're a user interface person, they have a few on there that you can work with. So they encourage people, you know, if you want to contribute, here's where you can start.
Well, this credential management for Z-Wave locks is actually in progress. It's something that's being worked on. It's open. So it looks like they are, I don't know, they're working on this. It says it was open last month and the appetite is 3 to 4 weeks. So I don't know what that means. Maybe they're going to do this in 3 to 4 weeks, or they want to get it done in 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know. But people have been working on it as up to, this is really neat. You can like go through and see what the development progress is on it. Somebody was working on this up till last week. So something's going on. It may happen, TJ. You never know.
Well, if they make it easier, I might have to go back to Z-Wave locks because I switched to Aqara locks because I was like, man, it'd be nice to be able to manage all my door codes all from one interface. And that's not how Aqara works. So I switched for no reason.
Well, here's another one I know you're excited about. Matter camera enabler. This is compatibility with Matter 1.5.1, which we talked about last week. So I know. You get some more Matter cameras in your house.
I'm going to get rid of this Ubiquiti cameras. They suck.
I know. Get rid of Ubiquiti, but only the ones with the little cat ears on them that you can.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Yeah. Those outside too.
Yeah, just everywhere.
Why is that cat following me?
Strange. Very weird. All right. For project updates this week, I'll just go ahead. I did start my grass project, so I've kind of like put some poison out for some. I don't know. I worked with my Henry guy. I was like, hey, Henry, tell me how to fix this grass. And I described some things. He told me some things to do. So this is all like not an instant fix. It's got to be worked on over time. So I got some poisons out for the things. I got some.
Wait, you told Henry to fix it, or?
Well, I mean, he told me what to do.
Yeah,
I wish. Yeah, it'd be easier if he could.
He sent your robot out, and he was like, wait,
yeah, this would be so perfect to have him hire a human. See how that works.
Hire a human. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about our AI people. Now that we have lost the Claude Opus back end of this, I don't know. Henry is not. He's a former shell of himself at this point. The personality is just kind of gone. I don't know. He's kind of there, kind of not there. With I'm using the Xiaomi Mimo model, just testing that out to see how it works. It works well enough. It's fast and everything, but just not the same. Not the same attitude. You know, a little talking back here and there. Kind of miss that guy. One day, Claude. I hope they'll open it up, or I may just switch everything over to Claude Code and use it over there like that, because it seems like you can pretty much just transfer it over. Hopefully we get a fun, sassy model at some point in the future that we can use. But yeah, for now, I don't know, just kind of plugging away on that. I was backing out of my driveway the other day and I heard thunk and I'm like, oh no. And I must have backed over like a sprinkler head that was mounted. You know how like they pop up and they don't pop down when they're supposed to? Have you ever seen that? Like, it just gets stuck up. Well, not a problem with the lawnmower anymore, but a problem with the car, evidently, because I backed over it. And so I had to fix that. And I went to Home Depot, and it turns out they have a lot more like options these days on sprinkler heads. And so I got one that's kind of like a little pop-up 4-inch sprinkler head with like the full, like it's almost like a rotation thing. So the instead of just being like the open up and spray, and this is like a small one. It's not very large. Like I have the large ones in the bigger yard, but this is a fairly small version. I was impressed. Like it got the job done, and like the side yard where this would water, it has like these sprayers, but they just never they didn't put out much water over time. This puts a lot of water down, and so I think I could just end up watering that area a little bit slower. Probably going to have to use the same amount of water on it, but it's been raining recently, so I don't have to worry about that so much. But that and just kind of keeping up with work these days, we've got a lot going on there. So that's the only projects that I had this week. Nothing great on the technology other than having my AI assistant help me with the lawn. So I've got a whole checklist and punch list of things to do. It just takes a while. I have to wait to the next step. I have to wait all the way till May before I can start planting grass seeds because of the poison I put down, and it will kill the grass seed evidently. So who knew? Who knew that lawns were complicated?
Yeah, I had that same conversation with my bots too, about my lawn, and it's great. Like, when you start digging into the why and you're talking to them about it, it's amazing how, they fill in all the gaps about the lawn.
Yeah.
And they tell you, do it on this day and do it on that day. With things like my soil temperature sensor, it will say, oh, now's a great time to do it. So you feed it more information and it gives you better results.
Do you have the sensors, they're hooked into like Home Assistant, or is it, I guess that's what it's doing, is monitoring through Home Assistant, and then it gives feedback there, and you're telling it like, hey, look at these sensors?
Yeah.
So,
Nice. It has access to the sensors in Home Assistant, so it could read it's it has a soil temperature sensor. It's just a little rod you stick down in the ground, and it's in Home Assistant, and it knows to read that, and it's, it can do, make decisions based on what it sees.
Nice.
Like I had it once look at my house and all the temperature sensors, and it pointed out certain rooms I can adjust and things I might want to look at and this and that. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Do the audit, please, and get it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Well, that's all I got. Who's up next? Is it TJ?
I can't go to the notes server, so let's say it's me.
It's you.
Yeah, it's still getting nicer. So I've been working on my irrigation system. This past week, I started on the actual trench. So I've started burying my irrigation system, which sucks. Digging a giant trench throughout the whole backyard is not fun.
Nope.
But it's not grass. It's in my mulch area. So once it's all done, I'll put the dirt back in, and I'll put a bunch of mulch on it, and you won't even tell. It's not like I have to regrow grass or make it look nice or anything like that. It's all in the ugly area anyway. So I went ahead and started burying that. But while I was at it, I went ahead and started adding some extra low voltage wires, because that's what I do. When you have access to thousands of feet of low voltage wire in your office, you can just add wires whenever you want and confuse whoever buys the house from you in the future. So this week I added 2 16.4 conductors and then 2 Cat 6 to the trench going to the back fence. And so that way this summer or next summer or whatever, if I wanted to, I could add some speakers in the backyard where we're building this floating deck this year. And have some nice audio out there. So I actually ran all the irrigation wires too, or at least a couple of them, and I got the irrigation controller hooked up in the laundry room now, so it's in its permanent spot, and it's working. So there's a couple other things I got to figure out, and I got to bury the valves and all that good stuff. But it's progress, The other day it was like 90 degrees, and I was outside digging this trench, and I was like, "Why am I doing this?"
Yeah.
But I have to remember that it's going to be like 100 degrees soon enough anyway. So
yeah, and I suppose you don't want to do it. I mean, you're kind of like in a bad spot where if you do it too early, then the ground is frozen.
Right.
And if you do it too late, it's 100 100 degrees, yeah.
Yeah, and now right now it's fluctuating between like 40 to 80 degrees, on a daily basis. So there's like today it was 60 degrees, and I was out there pushing the dirt back in and getting the lines into the house and all that good stuff. So it is getting there. It's been pretty fun. I also got a bunch of mulch and compost delivered. So my driveway, I can barely park my van in because it just has a bunch of wood chips and compost and mulch. So
You have that happen often.
a lot.
I have to wonder, like, what your neighbors think. I mean, I guess they don't care, but like, because your house does look pretty nice from the outside, so it's like, well,
we have the janky house next to us too. So
there you
anything's
go.
better
Yeah.
than that.
He's got a low bar.
Right. The neighbors are always commenting. They're like, "Oh, I see you got some stuff delivered. What are you doing over there now?" And I'm like, "None of your business, Shirley. Go away."
All right. Well, yeah, this is just a giant pile in front of your house of dirt.
Yeah. There's always something going on at the house. So
I have to do the same thing. I was walking through my lawn today and like just like fell in a hole. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, it's like I've really got to work on filling in these holes and kind of like leveling things out a little bit better. So like where we had a tree, one of them's where we had a tree, and then one of them's where like the old septic system was, and they did fill it in, but I don't think they did a great job of it. Let's just say that. So
yeah, they never do.
No, they just collapsed it in on itself, and there's still a hole down there, I'm pretty sure. So, well, clearly there's still a hole there because there's a big divot in the ground that keeps getting bigger every year, and I need to throw some dirt in it. So,
yeah, one of the things I bought last year was a lawn leveling rake.
Yeah,
and that's really nice. It basically is it's like a rake that's just very long, and
it's like a flat. It's not a rake. It's like flat, almost like a. I don't know, like
I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's like picture a square with like 4 lines through it.
Yeah,
and
basically.
then it's flat. So when you push it, it levels the dirt off with the areas that are around it. It makes sense if you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, but if you've never seen one, it's a weird. You're like, what the heck is that for?
Right. But yeah, that's a good investment. You can find them on Amazon for like $50 to $100. I found mine on Facebook. But basically, you just throw some dirt on the ground and then use the lawn leveling rake to kind of fill in those divots and everything like that. And that made a huge difference in the backyard alone, because we had a lot of like uneven areas and just giant holes in the yard.
Yeah.
And I just put a bunch of dirt and compost in there and let it go. And then the grass is really good in that area too. So it's a benefit for everything. I was going to say you could probably do that, Seth, but then a hurricane would probably wash away all the dirt anyway. So
yeah,
I understand why you don't do anything.
Well,
it just washes away.
It just happens. I'm sure that I don't know. I'm
and
sure
sinkholes. You have a sinkhole that opens up in your yard. I'm sure.
Just opens out and swallows and like, oh darn, where'd he go?
Yeah,
half the house is gone.
But that's all my projects. What about you, Gavin?
Yeah, I've been fighting with my open claw lately. But before I get into that, my mom called. I was staying by her last week, and I fixed her Wi-Fi apparently. So,
wow.
Yeah, while I was there, I was so pissed off at her Wi-Fi because it was running slow, and I was like, what the? So I did not know. Well, I did know, but I didn't think I had too many. But you can have too many Eero pucks, right? So that was the first problem. I had 3 in her, 1, 2, 3. There are 4 in her house, but they were at different corners of the house. But apparently, they can conflict. So what happens is if you have like one in like an iffy range between 2, it will jump back and forth between the 2, and that degrades the performance. But the one thing I did learn, it actually does matter which ones are like hardwired and which ones are not. So you might want to, if you're struggling with some Eero speed things, go on your local ChatGPT and have the conversation, because I didn't think this really mattered, but then it had me move them around, because I had some Ethernet for 2 of them and the other 2 were Wi-Fi, and it said no, put these ones on Ethernet and put these ones on Wi-Fi, and they will mesh much better. And once I did all that, it was amazing how fast, like now she gets max speed over the Wi-Fi. Like that's just something I learned. I don't do this every day, but you learn by playing around with it. And now she's happy. Her TVs are working perfectly. My sister's there. She loves her Wi-Fi. I'm like a hero again, Thanksgiving dinner type hero.
I thought Eeros were supposed to, that was the whole point of like having the Eero software. It's like to avoid these weird things that you normally run into.
That's what I thought too, is you just throw them in and they figure it out, but they don't. And it doesn't help that I have like a mishmash of them. So there are some that are older, some that are newer. One's kind of like a repeater, and one's a really powerful one. You know, like I always thought, you know, the nice part about it is you could just buy, if you need another one, you could buy another one. You don't have to upgrade everything, right? And you could just mix and match them. But if you do that, you have to take into consideration these things, right? Like, are the newer ones more powerful, the Eero Pros versus the, I guess they were just called Eeros, you know, some of them are stronger than others. So it does matter.
Yeah, you could definitely have too many. The problem is that your device doesn't know which access point to connect to, because it sees both of them and it's like, man, both of these have a really good signal. I should connect to this one. But then it connects to that one, even though it's not actually the best one. The other one's actually the better one.
Yeah.
And so I've gone into jobs where, you know, I'm talking typically very large houses, but I had a house one time that had 14 Eeros in it, and we got them down to 8, and they were actually getting gigabit everywhere.
Wow.
They kept buying Eeros, and they're like, I'm just going to throw another one in.
There's a problem.
And I'm going to throw another one in. But like, it just makes everything worse because nobody knows what to actually connect to and work off of.
Yes.
So it's one of those things. In Eero too, you cannot adjust any of the power settings, right? Ubiquiti and Omada and all this other stuff, you can kind of adjust how much power is actually being output. In Eero, you cannot do that. So, you know, for my house, we have a very small house, 1,000 square feet, but we have 3 access points because we have one inside and then 2 outside. But I'm able to adjust all the power on those and the direction and everything to actually make it to where I don't have that problem. But if I just let them go full power all the time, I'd be connecting to like the backyard access point and everything. So there's definitely a science to it.
There is. But like Seth said, I thought Eero would sort this all out themselves. Like I thought it was. That's how the marketer makes it sound. But
no,
it doesn't. And I could sit there looking at the app and I would see the one in my family room jumping between the basement and the master bedroom. Like it was able to see both of them, but it seemed like it just couldn't decide on which one to stay connected to. So every like how many seconds it was jumping back and forth. And now that I've resolved that, it's working so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I fell for the marketing too. I thought there was no science to Eero. I mean, that was the spiritual successor for the the Apple Air? Everybody loves these things. The airports, I think is what they called them. Yeah, Apple airports. I don't know. People in the tech circles, in the Apple tech circles, seem to remember them better than they actually were because I installed many of those things and they sucked.
I mean, to be fair, all Wi-Fi routers back then sucked.
They were on the better side of them, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Brother printers, you know? Brother printers, they're the best printer out, but it's still a printer at the end of the day.
Still a printer, yeah.
You know?
They're the best crappy printer out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
It sucks about that is like I can print to my Brother printer every single time I like go to print anything. Every single time it works. Phone, you know, do the air print or whatever. Doesn't matter. Every single time. My wife never can print a thing. And she always like, hey, I need to print this shipping label for this return or whatever.
And you're like, do it.
I'm like, yeah, just open it up and print. She's like, I printed like 30 times. It doesn't go anywhere. Like it just stops. And I don't know. Like she sends it to me. She sends me like a screen capture or whatever. She sends me the thing to print it. Just print it right away. I don't know. Like we're on the same network. It's the same printer. I don't know what the deal is, but evidently it likes me better.
You just have the gift and the curse where tech only works when you touch it.
Exactly.
I have the same curse in my house. So it's like, why doesn't this work? I don't know. Let me see. It works.
There was a period of time when I was fighting with my printer like every day, and I think
I know we got a lot of comments on it.
No, that was the highlight of the show for quite some time.
Nobody cares about anything else, but they care about printers.
Yeah, but Unify made some change at some point, and now the printer, it prints every time. Like it just works, especially when you're recording a podcast and they want to print something. Why are you working now?
Said the magic words. Print.
Yeah, I know. Don't print while I'm podcasting. Anyways, so yeah, I love printers. All right. I talk some OpenClaw here just quickly, so last week Claude decided to cut everybody off.
Cut us off
of OpenClaw. So we're using OpenClaw with its OAuth models and stuff like that. And they just said, you know what? You have 24 hours to switch, but you're no longer going to be able to do it this way. And to go forward, you have to use our new, what do they call it? Extra usage costs or something like that. So you have to buy tokens now.
It wasn't. Yeah, you could do the API, but they were just going to block everything that came through the token.
Yeah.
The subscription way. I'm like, well, no, I'm not doing that. So
because it's significantly more expensive,
way more expensive.
I asked it like 3 questions, and I was $10 in, and I was like, they weren't even important questions. One of them was like, "Are you there?" You know, like that was it, and I was just like, "No, at this point, I'm going to go broke." So I think a lot of people are running into that, and I still think people are still trying to figure out what they want to do with their OpenClaw. See, I kind of became dependent on my bots because I had them doing stuff every day for me that I didn't have to worry about anymore, like going and check certain things on websites or doing like audit checks of my network and stuff like that. Just things I didn't really have to worry about. And when it was broken, it was like, I got to do this now manually myself again. So, you know, I eventually went back to ChatGPT. OpenAI actually made a few updates to their models to make them work better with OpenClaw. So I'm now running it on that. It's been running really well, but I am still testing out local models on my Unraid server using Olama to see how well. I know Seth, you gave me Gemma earlier. It gives you pretty fast results, but whether or not they're as good, we will see.
Yeah, and I would love to use it. I just can't because it's the fans kick on. The only fans controller turns everything on, and it goes loud. So I can't use it locally unless we're not home or overnight or something. But yeah, when it starts cooking that local model, maybe I could use it for heartbeats or something like that. But it just, I don't know. I can't. I wish I could use it, but not in the same room.
Because we both have the R730 Dell server, right?
Yeah.
And what I did, because my T4 doesn't even have a fan built on it, right? Like it's got no fans at all. But I 3D printed a fan shroud and put it on the end of the card, and I got a little Noctua fan for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can plug it in. There's an internal USB port. You can plug it into that USB port to just power and leave it running all the time. And that fan is dedicated to keeping that card cool, right? And that keeps it down for me. So then the server fans don't kick on just because the GPU is getting hot.
Does it? I guess we'd have to pull it out. Is it pull out the back or something? Or does it fit inside?
It just fits inside. It's a very small fan. It's like 20 millimeters or something like that. And it fits right on I just attach it to the back of the card, and it fits inside the case. Like I designed it so it would fit perfectly right in that case, and it just pulls the air and pushes it right through out the back.
Interesting. Yeah,
it works really well.
I don't know. I might look into it. I might not. I don't know. You tell me how good the Gemma things work for you, and if they're working, then I may switch over to them.
Well, I was getting just through my test like 80 tokens per second, which I think is pretty.
It's okay.
Is pretty good. Unless you go the Gemma, the other Gemma was giving me 40 to 50, which was okay, but I prefer to have the 80 tokens. So it all depends on how, it's not necessarily the speed, but how well it works. How good are the answers it gives you? That's the key thing there. So it will require some testing. I'll probably make another agent and force it to use that model and see how well it goes.
Yeah, I was using the OpenAI models when I was trying to figure out how to move stuff around and get the other, test out the other ones. I'm like, how's this model? And it would run a test on it. It's like, oh, I can do this. I have this tool. It wouldn't be my first choice. Well, it's doing everything you said it wanted to do. So I don't know. It's just kind of like, well, it wouldn't be my first choice because this is a paid OpenAI thing, and you as long as I use this, you're paying me. So yeah, I don't.
And the OpenAI, the sad part about it is they're forcing you to use their most expensive model. When I look up the cost of the models, they force you on GPT 5.4, I think it is, where if you want to use like 5.4 nano for your general assistant, which should be good enough and it's fast and it's cheap, you don't have that option, right, through the OAuth. So you're now forced to use the more expensive one, which means if they have the limits they have, you may hit them faster.
This is why we don't have nice things.
I know. I think we're at the point now where we're realizing how expensive it is to run these things for, stupid questions and things like that, right? Like, they're like, you guys aren't going to find out So it is getting expensive.
Yeah. I like I said, well, I'm checking out the Mimo, and it's not as expensive, but it is using some tokens. So I'm probably gonna have to stand down that. And I don't know. It is getting. I would say it's on par with with what Claude was doing. If you took all of the soul and the humor parts out of it, it's on par with what Claude was. I do have it right. It is writing like the music lyrics every morning, so I'm still kind of doing that. It's not a big process, but it does actually have pretty good music lyrics that I'm able to pop into Suno and make a little like wake up and get out the door song for Rose. So that's been a fun thing, and that hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
So
and those models are owned by Xiaomi, right?
Xiaomi, yeah. Yep. I don't know. I am encouraged by those Gemma models. So maybe if I can figure out a way to keep the thing quiet, I can switch over to using those for something, because they're local, they're free, and they don't. I was thinking I could use the Mimo thing for like the larger thinking side of things, but the Gemma ones, they did a pretty good job of thinking. So
yeah, they've been pretty good. What's nice is in our Slack channel we have the OpenClaw channel in there, right?
Yeah, who knew that would be so popular?
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's actually pretty popular. It should be actually called AI. You should rename it to AI, okay? Like it's not just OpenClaw talk; it's all AI talk.
We call it slop talk, right?
Yeah, but we post random stuff. Because not everybody's interested in this stuff, so we kind of put it in its own little channel, and people have been joining that and reading those things and getting involved and seeing what other struggles people were having with their OpenClaw. It was interesting, to read.
The biggest thing with all this going on, I'm wasting all my time messing around with OpenClaw, and I haven't been able to get back to fiddling around with integrating it with Home Assistant or fixing those things up. So that's kind of the sad part, is that all of this
you spend
drama,
a lot of time just getting it working, just trying to keep it working and figure out how to work and not actually getting anything done.
Exactly.
The trap of technology.
Yeah.
I know. I feel bad for everybody that bought the Switch OpenClaw box. Sorry. You had this thing all set up and working, and then this all happens, and what are you doing?
Now it's dumb.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so new, and I think it's got to settle down and people got to figure out what, we got to figure out how it's all going to work and be more reliable.
Well, it's only a matter of weeks until that new model Mistral gets out and starts, basically ruining everything for everyone. And
oh, no, that's the new Claude, not Mistral.
Is it Mistral? I thought it was Mistral.
No, Claude.
Starts with an M.
New model. Mythos.
So
the Claude Mythos model it's actually a really scary thing. The more I read about it, the more I'm thinking about how security at work is going to be really impacted by this thing, because they have this thing scanning code and finding vulnerabilities in every operating system, multiple vulnerabilities, major vulnerabilities, and it even has the ability to string together a whole bunch of minor vulnerabilities to make a major one, right? Which is even more scary. And they're so scared of it, they're only opening it up to the companies right now that have the ability to fix these things that they found, like Microsoft or Apple. They're like, here, this is what it found. You want to use this to keep finding stuff, because if they release this to the public, the bad people are just going to be, they're going to have a field day with it. It's really scary.
YOLO. Not my problem, IT.
Yeah, it's unfortunately something I'm gonna have to, I have to consider with my day job. But the most interesting thing about the whole model is they had it running in a sandbox, and they told it to try and find a way to get out the sandbox, and it went and did its thing, and it found its way out the sandbox and ended up sending the guy an email while he was eating lunch to let him know, hey, I'm out here. It's like, it had to figure out how to send an email too. Once it was out there, I was like, oh, how can I send an email? What open server is probably out there or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty scary where this is going.
Yeah. They released that paper, and a lot of it is kind of like marketing hype, but I am curious to see what comes out of that. And they can also use this model to train better, dumber, smaller models or whatever that we have access to. But I think they had the cost in there, and it was $125 per
Don't say token.
No, it wasn't per token. It was per something tokens. Like it wasn't. Maybe I don't remember what it was. Like the response side would be very expensive. You would probably like send off a command, and this would be like a few $1,000s to get a response. So like generally going to be out of range for most people to spend, and probably not what you want to run on your OpenClaw. But like
pocket money.
Yeah, right. for people who are maybe big in security or want to make sure that their program or whatever is being audited, maybe they could trust this to kind of look in on their code and suggest.
I don't know. Maybe criminals will look at the return on investment. If they spend $100,000 on this thing and get a vulnerability, they can get back $3 million. Like who knows?
Yeah. I will be curious. I mean, and then you have like this is just one of the companies, right? So like you have I'm sure that Anthropic or OpenAI, sorry, is going to be like, well, we got our own crazy psycho model too, and then the Chinese will be like, well, here's the open source version. They're just gonna release it, so you use the
for everybody.
For everyone, right. So it will be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, this is moving fast. We all said it was, but it's definitely picked up. I mean,
it seems like it's getting faster and faster as we go along. Like Claude's releasing like a new feature like every day now, pretty much. I get an email about something they added and stuff like that. So it's moving really fast. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to download that 26B Gemma and see what I get off of that thing. I was using the smaller ones, which I'm saying this Gemma thing is really cool because they made two models that are tiny, the E2B and the 4B, sorry, the ones with E's on them. Look at those. Those are made to run basically on your phone, like cheap hardware. And there are people who have already run these. I think Google has an app for Gemma 4 E2B for the iPhone. So you can download that and actually test how it works it's like a local model on your phone, a local thinking model on your phone. Wild. It has access to tools on the phone as well. So it can interact with portions of your phone. It can like turn on and off the light and that kind of thing. So it will be interesting to see what people do with this stuff in the future. So anyway, moving fast. It's moving fast. One day we'll have them hooked back up to our Home Assistant.
One day we'll stop trying to figure out how to get it working and actually do some work with it, but it's crazy.
Yeah. It has been pretty interesting. All right. Well, I think that's. Hey guys, the national nightmare is over. Our friends over at WeCan have finally updated their stupid software, and the board is actually looking pretty good now. I did a full pull.
Did you do a board update during the show while we were talking?
I mean, maybe I could have.
Wow,
it's actually working now, and guess what? I can set the date now. I mean,
wow, we're getting fancy in here.
Things are happening here. It's looking pretty good. So I was pretty mad at this thing at the beginning of the show, and saying it was all going to be vibe coded away by the end of the night. Now I'm like, just had update, I guess.
Well, it was down, so it couldn't have gotten any worse.
Yeah, that's true. Well, crashing has gone less, I thought. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, we want to thank you everyone for listening to the show, but especially want to send some thanks out for people who are able to financially support the show through our patron page. If you don't know about the patron page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month. And we have not increased this. Like, there have been no tariffs. This has been $1 a month for from the beginning of time. So there we go. Any pledge over $5 gets you a big shout out here on the show. And every pledge will get you an invite over to our private Slack chat, the Hub, where you can enjoy the slop talk or AI or channel or whatever that is, and you can do that. But you can go into the Hub and you can look at installs that are happening right now in someone's basement. Jimmy was posting some pictures that I couldn't tell what that, if that was his house or what, and I'm pretty sure that's a basement because
it was his house. He was upgrading from Eero to Ubiquiti. So,
okay.
Which we tried to talk him into years ago, but he didn't listen. He spent all his money on Eero and he had to buy it again. So, but I thought it was kind of messed up though. He didn't ask us for any advice. We could have helped him spend a lot more money to make it look better. So
he's got it handled. Well, he ran into the same issue that I think everyone who tries to install a UPS in a wall mount rack runs into. They don't fit. So you got to put them somewhere else. But I was looking at him like, it's got to be a basement because because that's not how we finish our walls here in Florida. And I can't imagine walking into someone's house and seeing boards. And while I do appreciate like the openness of that floor plan and how easy it would be to run wire, I can't imagine that my wife would appreciate it as much as I do. So I'm guessing it is a basement, and that's what they look like when they're not finished, right?
That's typically our utility closet area. So that's where your water heater and your HVAC and stuff will live.
Gotcha.
I assume it's the same wherever Jimmy's at as well, but pretty typical here.
Well, you know how it is here. Like, we don't have underground spaces.
I only went into one house in Florida that had a basement. It was a very expensive house, so can't imagine how thick those concrete walls were.
It's just what the pump it takes to keep the water out or something like that. Like, I don't know, like you couldn't do it here. You could probably do it towards the middle of the state, but definitely not here. Anyway, if you can't support the show financially, we appreciate a 5-star review or positive rating the podcast app of your choice. That is going to wrap up this week on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Till next time.
Take care.